Hello, this is a Viking village right in Yorkshire, in York, and what it is, Vikings raided England in 793 AD. It's just to show you a typical Viking village in Yorkshire, as they had raided England and overtook the whole country over the last few hundred years. This is just a farmer here with his dog going out hunting. After this, you can see the typical village life of how the Vikings lived. There's a lady at the end sewing clothes for the Vikings, as you can see now. And there's a fisherman also just with his nets. As we pan round now, you can see one looking for food in the sack what he had, and here's an old Viking lady sewing. And this one has captured, I think it's a prisoner or a slave. Now we move on the village. This is where one of the workers is making tools. As you can see, the village life was very poor in those days. They didn't have much. All they used to do is just hunt for food and look what they could get free, grow a bit of wheat. That's why they came to England, because the soil was much better than over in Denmark where they came from. Now we are panning around again to village life. Outside the house, two people are just chatting away there, because they did not have much lighting in the house, just oil-fired lamps. Here we've got a man outside. I think he's just sharpening his tools for the next raid or hunting trip which they went on. Now you can see inside the house a little bit. And here they used to have pigs, wild pigs, which was very similar to ours, which they brought over from Norway. They had more fur on them than ours do. And here's a blacksmith talking to his son. They're just sharpening knives. And then we move on to a wine making facility where they used to make their own wine. Very slow. As you can see, we're panning round to the next stage of the village. Looks like father and son just having something to eat. Could be anything from apples to grapes. I think it's apples what they keep peeling. As for here, they're going round I'm not quite sure what it is. I think a father with his wife and son are just talking, just having a family conversation, which life was very poor in them days. They didn't have much. And then you can see a fishing boat just in front of the harbour where they went out for the daily catches every day of fish. Yeah, a cat on the floor, which they also had as pets and for the rats, so it didn't eat the coin. Yeah, this is a fisherman repairing his fishing nets for the trip out.
And the clothes.
And then what you've got here is where they've caught fish, eels, and hanging them out. And what they do, they smoke them. So the fish, they didn't have to freeze it or anything. They didn't have freezers in them days. And they were just cooking it then whenever they wanted chickens for eggs. Because poultry and livestock was crucial to their life. And this is a well here where they used to get the fresh water from. And that's more of the settlement, what you can see, the houses. Yep.
The house is made of wood.
Yeah, they used to make their houses out. You're going to have to stop it. And now we look at a typical house inside where they did all the cooking and everything, all with candle, and it was all oil from sea lions where they caught, and whales, because that was the only means of lighting in them days. So they had plenty of candles around the house. And the trees were from the forest with thatched roofs. They were very poor. The streets all covered in mud. They did not have much cleaning facilities, only from what water they brought into the houses. There were no running water in them days. As you can see, the houses were very dark. They had many fires in the houses, full of smoke and all. They used to cut a hole in the roof to let the smoke out. And this is a woman, and what she's doing is doing a tapestry. They used to do plenty of tapestries and that, hung them on the walls with all decoratives. There you can see again all the candles and that, because they were very poorly lit. And now we're going outside to a hunter, and I think he sold the food what they could purchase, and they used to trade things for it. Yeah, they didn't have currency as such. What they did have was furs and stuff, what they fish, what they'd got, and they used to trade it for other means. That was a blacksmith who made shoes. Here's a mother with a daughter. There's a guy who made the shoes. Everything was out of leather in them days, from either from deer or pigs or cows, the skins. Just a dog begging for food. And then here a woman trying to barter for some items what he had for sale. Yeah, it looks like they're selling chickens and ducks and everything. And this one, I think, I'm not quite sure what it is yet. The old lady shouting across the street, trying to get veg cheap for the meals, because they had a lot of veg, what they used to grow themselves. Yeah, a local baker trying to sell his goods.
Look, the clothes before is long for the woman. Long dress.
Now we're back inside. It looks like a doctor who's trying to treat an elderly patient, because they didn't have medicine, they just had medicine men in them days. Used to give them herbs local from the fields and trees, because there was no medication in those days. It looks like a son who's upset. It could be his father dying. Again, you can see all the candles he had to light them. Now we're back outside in the street. You can see all the furs hung up from the deers and wild boar, and the meat in the tubs. So it must have been a butcher who was selling the furs and the meat. And then there's a rat on the table, which is trying to pinch the meat, because there was so much vermin in those days, they couldn't control it. That's why they had the cats and dogs. And there's a rib cage of a cow, and then bones from chickens. And now we're coming to the end of the village. I'm not sure what the old man was doing, maybe a lookout. Because in those days they had a load of Vikings getting raided each camp. The bigger the camp, the more people wanted to raid them to see if they could steal the stuff from them. Because they was very poor in those days. I think that's it. And
Thank you for watching.
And thank you for watching my channel. Okay. Right, do I get peace?